Hi, I'm Patty.
I'm Kim Michelle.
And I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast. It's a great day to talk.
Because honestly, what day isn't a great day to talk?
So join us in our conversation.
A Great Day to Talk is brought to you by St. George Design, offering complete website design, social media management, search engine optimization, Google and Facebook ad management, and many other digital and print marketing services. stgeorgedesign.com. And by Richardson Brothers Custom Homes, third-generation builders who have been building custom homes in southern Utah for over 25 years. They will take your dream home from concept to completion. Contact richardsonbrothers.com. The April Gates Group and Zion Canyon Real Estate have been specializing in helping southern Utah clients buy and sell property for over 18 years. We can help you too. Call or text April today. 435-632-8869. 435-632-8869.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to A Great Day to Talk. I'm Kim Michelle, and I'm here with my lovely, beautiful, and sweetest friends in the entire world, Miss Patty Richardson. So cute. And Miss the beautiful, lovely, and I was going to say voluptuous, but that doesn't mean singer. What does singer mean? Songstress. We'll just say songstress.
It's
songstress.
beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go.
Okay.
Something.
Okay. Miss Jill Burkett, and we want to welcome you to our podcast. Thank you for hanging in there. We know we had a couple of hitches here getting started, but we are here now and ready to go. Today is a fabulous day in the world of nature.
It is a beautiful day in the world of nature.
And
Happy
no one knows our nature more than this girl.
It's neat. Nature is neat.
No one knows
Nature
less
is
than
neat.
nature probably than this girl. But this girl, Miss Jill.
Well, but because you hate vegetables.
Right. Because who would like them?
Do you hate all vegetables?
Corn. I
Potatoes.
like corn and potatoes. But that, lettuce, is that a vegetable?
An onion.
Yes, onion and garlic.
Yes.
I like those. But everything else, Patty brought us a beautiful
I always bring vegetables.
chicken noodle soup, which was lovely. The noodles were, did you make those noodles?
Those are
babe? Oh my gosh. I knew they were homemade. And Scott said the same thing. So,
Wow.
but it had, I have to say, great big, look, what is this?
That's your
Chunks.
fluff.
They have
Somebody
chunks
did
of-
not check my hair
was
going
fine.
live. So
Big
not.
chunks
Yeah,
of carrots and celery.
At
At least they were easy to pick
celery
out.
was fine. The carrots, though, were humongous.
Easy to pick out.
Yeah, they were easy to pick out, and I did pick out every single
I
one of
would've
them.
eaten
But
them for you.
Scott loved them. So
He likes
it was,
carrots? It's okay?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was perfect.
Well, that's the person we need to eat.
yeah.
Not we need to eat. It's the person that should
Yeah.
be eating.
Well, that is true.
There we
Well,
go.
And he lost
not to
weight.
say you
No
shouldn't.
weight since 2
All
weeks
of
ago
this?
in his chemo. He's lost no weight in this 2-week period of time. So we're
Fantastic.
very happy about that. And I'm sure it's because of all the carrots, extra carrots that he got over the last couple of days. But I have to say, that soup was delicious and the noodles were.
Patty's a domestic goddess.
Fantastic.
Not really.
She is 100%.
Well, you make shepherd's pie tonight, and I
Well, I
love
even did this.
shepherd's
I did
pie.
the side without veggies.
It's so cute. So
You were there?
yeah,
Max
when it
brought
was
it?
delivered. Yes, and he was so sweet. And I told Scott, this has vegetables on half of it and no vegetables on the other half. And he said, well, how am I going to know which is which? And sweet Jill had labeled it, this end, no vegetables, meaning this is Kim Michelle's end. And this end here,
Has
full
the
of
veggies.
the deluxe for Mr. Scott.
Yes.
So
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
thank you for that.
Well,
so,
no, I'm happy to be able to do that. It's the
Yeah,
least
it
I
would
can
be
do.
good for me, but I can't help it. I just don't like them.
Well, that's why there's none
Sam,
there for
I
you.
am.
Just potato.
Yeah,
Just mashed potatoes.
Just, what does Stephen Colbert say on his T-shirts? Like something potato.
I don't know. Potato.
He's selling them now. Like
What?
yeah,
He has a
Scott-
potato farm?
Well, no, but he's selling them for
He's like
Chef Andre.
He's an advertising.
All the proceeds go to Chef Andre's feeding Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh, is he doing
Yeah.
the Ukraine now? Andre?
Yeah, he is. And so his T-shirt says, I know we're all over the place. Hang in there. It's going to get better, or it's not, and it will still be fabulous. Something potato. Scott, help me out. Send a little message to me. It's hilarious.
It'll hit you at 2:00 in the morning. We'll call
it's
Sean.
hilarious.
Sean, please post this. Please post this.
We'll add it as an update. In the meantime, while we're thinking about that,
Is potato.
is potato. Yes,
Is
that's
potato.
Is potato.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And every shirt that's sold, I'm sure Stephen Colbert is very happy that I'm doing a plug for him on our
free.
podcast.
Right.
For
For
free.
free, yeah. Well,
I think we should order
he
matching
thinks.
shirts.
So he thinks. I think we should too and wear them next year.
Okay.
The
done.
first show of next year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
work on that. Okay.
Yeah,
Done.
okay. In the meantime, Jill,
Hello.
we would love to have you talk to us about the importance of winter solstice.
Well, happy winter solstice, my
Yeah.
friends.
Yes. Is winter solstice a pagan holiday?
Winter solstice originated way back in the day. Yes. Let's just get right to it. No, but let's be, come on. Pagans have been here longer
because
than
they're
Christianity.
I'm more
I know.
pagan than
100%.
any other thing.
I know.
Welcome. It's called neo-paganism. Thank you
Okay.
very much. And winter solstice was a celebration time when they were wishing Mother Earth a good night, told her they would wait for her when she was ready to awaken in the spring. They would leave a fire burning for her throughout the entire period of time that it was in the dark up until February. And it was one of the ways they combated this fear and anxiety around the fact that they thought the world was ending because the sun went away
Oh.
and was never going to come back. So the light from what was the original Yule log was lit to stay lit until Mother Earth showed her
Return.
light again. Yeah. Yep.
And you've traditionally done a lighting of the Yule log or something, right?
Yes, we do. We light a fire at dusk. This year, oh my gosh, this year's winter solstice was at 2:47 Mountain Standard Time.
AM or
and
PM?
PM.
Okay.
So this afternoon?
Yes, this afternoon. And we did not light a log because I'm here with my loves.
Yes.
We are going to acknowledge winter solstice tomorrow. The way we do it is we do at dusk light the fire out in the backyard, and we also light candles, each one of us in the family, to acknowledge that we will individually keep our light lit and that we are keeping
I
our
love
light
that.
lit for those family members that aren't with us. And we keep the fire going until we go to bed at night, which isn't until February, when traditionally the fire on Bride's Day would then go
What would be
out.
Bride's Day?
Bride's Day is in February, so it's a halfway mark between winter solstice and spring solstice, or spring equinox. So it's right in the middle. And Bride Day is traditionally back in the day when the earth starts to wake, and it's kind of a, stretching of the arms and a marriage to the new year, which then leads to spring equinox, which is when we have the Easter bunny, which wasn't the Easter bunny. Originally, it was
A dog?
It was not. It's always been the rabbit, but the rabbit is the fertile animal, right? And so this is the
This is
fertile
true.
season. Spring is the fertile season.
New
So,
growth,
Yes,
new
new growth. Well,
beginnings.
and the coloring of the eggs at that time of year, the colors were planted all over. The seeds were planted all over, different colors, and then would bloom into the different colors of spring. So that's where the coloring of the Easter eggs came from.
Oh. I thought it came from a little kid who
Hallmark.
wanted a pink egg.
So do you think Christianity just like
it
tagged
did.
on to some of
Well,
these
part of what happened
dates
was
that weren't really dates of the things that
Right.
they're saying they are?
Christianity, from my understanding of the history that I've studied, which I studied for a long time.
And when
Trying
you
to
were in the
figure it all out.
monastery?
Yes, back in the day when I was preparing to become a bald monk. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but I really,
Chanting.
really, really, really needed to understand where all of these
traditions.
came from.
Stories.
And these stories came from, yes. And so the equinoxes and the solstices have been around since the very earliest of the Celts. And the Celtics were the ones that celebrated these things long before Christianity was even here. So Christianity came, and then they came to the island, and they wanted to, or the big island, and they wanted not Hawaii, but Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah.
And they wanted
The
original. They wanted to convert them, or wanted them to convert to their religion. And so the short of it is that they took pieces and parts of the religious celebrations of nature and said, hey, see, we've got that too. We've got the Yule log too. Hey, look, for Halloween on Halloween, we've got All Saints Day. We celebrate on, All Saints. And Halloween is actually the fall celebration of thanking Mother Earth for the abundance of the earth and thanking our ancestors who came before. You light candles, you recognize the ancestors as they were for you and how they brought you here to this journey of your own.
Yeah.
And so you light a candle, thank them, put pictures out, and you give gifts to Mother Earth in the form of gourds and just nice offerings to the earth that then go back into the earth. So so
I love it.
We've done that for years.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm wondering, why do you think that the origins from which Christianity stems, that there would be an issue with the idea of nature and their beliefs being tied somehow together? And then over the years, there's kind of been a separation and almost a forced choice.
I think it's because and I'm speaking as a layman for sure, right? I don't have a PhD
Right.
in this.
And do we
in any
have
stretch of the
Facebook
imagination.
comments coming in? Okay, thank you. I was just going to say, because there might be someone out there listening that could give us
that
some
will
information too.
School me. But essentially, paganism is not rooted in Christianity.
Right.
Because it was pre.
Because it's pre, and it doesn't center around an individual god. It centers around Mother Earth. And so from the history that I've studied, which is a pretty diverse history, the way that the Celts were enticed to decide to convert was by taking bits and pieces of their tradition and adding it in and saying, hey, see, we've got
Making
this
it seem
tradition
familiar.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, because when we teach Beowulf, it's the same concept,
Yes,
right? Because
yes.
Beowulf was originally didn't have Christian references in it
Same with
because Christianity did not exist.
exactly
at
the
that
same with
point
Odysseus
in time.
and yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
when those settlements began to attract Christian philosophers and people,
Missionaries.
missionaries, then they aligned beliefs with what
Sure.
was already known, and now it's
Sure.
hard to separate some of what
Yes.
happened where.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have a lot of that. We have a lot of that with Halloween. A lot of the traditions that we have with Halloween originated that way, and a lot of the traditions around Christmas and a lot of traditions around Easter are in the same set.
Do you think that it is necessary to separate them, or do you think we want to separate them because it makes us feel as if we have the truer answer?
I think that that really is an individual question, but for me, because I so resonate and get so much of my spirituality from the out of doors.
Yeah.
That
I think a lot of people do. That's why I'm asking whether we try to separate them, whether they're really distinct or whether somehow we try to separate them.
But we as a culture?
As a society.
Okay.
Or as someone with a vested interest.
So are we separating them though? Because I feel like the Christians piggybacked on the pagan dates.
Well, except I think if you asked Christians, the idea of pagan and paganism would be
evil.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's absolutely, because it's, you know, if you were to just hear the word pagan,
Yeah,
it has a negative connotation.
absolutely,
within today's society.
everybody
if you're
is
Christian
immediately like,
based, yeah,
you know, witchcraft and
exactly,
Yeah.
and devil worship
Exactly.
and all that, and which couldn't be further
The
from
crucible.
the truth.
Sure.
yeah.
Right. So I think that many would try to separate and differentiate between the two. One, because, well, I think probably from both sides, because one doesn't want to be owned by the other.
Yeah, I can understand that. I also just feel like, why does there necessarily
Have to be.
have to be?
Right. 100%.
Because
Can't we all
if
just
you
get along?
believe that God created the world, then He would want us to honor that world, I would think, and that's a lot of what this conversation is about: is really respecting, honoring, cherishing your connection with the source that comes by being in nature and experiencing the power that comes from that source.
Yeah. And I'm not a crazy, like, I'm not like some of our friends who are
Well, you're
crazy.
crazy.
well,
I'm
but
like,
not necessarily.
if you
100%.
stop there, I'm gonna have to
let's be
correct you.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
I might have to
Patty.
correct you.
We're both on the same
Let's
page
be
there.
100% with that. I'm talking like my husband, my crazy hiker, runner, outdoorsman husband, which he derives so much of his strength and energy from
There's
being
no doubt
outside.
I
about
do
it.
too. Yeah.
You guys know him.
Yeah.
And me, for me, just sitting outside and being in it and sitting in it,
Yeah.
I don't have to run in it in 100 degrees.
Gosh, no.
Like my crazy spouse.
Yeah.
But that's how he connects. Now, being at the ocean, oh my
It
gosh.
speaks to you.
That is
Yeah.
my...
You don't even have to be at the ocean. You only have to see the ocean or have a whiff of something that takes you back to that place.
Exactly.
And you are in
Yep.
your
I'm in my
fully
space.
grounded, empowered spiritual space.
100%. And he's the same with the lake or the mountains,
Yep.
and the ocean too. But I
And
would say running
That's-
is his
that part
number.
is a little crazy, but
That's his
the
number
rest
one.
of it I agree with. Yeah.
Yep. So today is our, not our, I say that like as if we're some kind of conglomerate, but we're not. We're just, this is our family celebration that we love and we've shared with our friends for, gosh, since boys were really little.
Yeah. Well, I think that anything that brings you together to create traditions and memories and those types of things, that I don't think those can ever really be
No.
bad or
No,
wrong.
and they don't even matter where it originated. I
Yeah,
don't think.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird this year because this year Ethan and Kitty are out of town, and Max is working. And today is the official celebration. We're going to celebrate tomorrow. They won't be back, and our friends that we've been celebrating this with since our kids were really little, their kids are all over. So this will be the first year that we've kind of done it without. But one of the things that we've done in the past for years and years and years, since the kids were little, is one of the symbols of Everlife or Evergreen or, life continues. It's kind
Eternal.
of like that. Yes, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
the circle of life is
Yeah.
the evergreen. And so,
Isn't there a song?
It's called, well, isn't it Summer Breeze?
No, it's Barbara
Summer
Streisand.
Oh, Evergreen. Makes me feel fine.
That's not it.
Sean is on it. Yes. Thanks, Sean.
Oh, thank you.
But I got the kids wreaths when they were very little. And there's a bunch of other little symbols, not symbols, but elements of nature that are year round. Holly berries, the robin, the pine cones and things like that. So every year
Every
year, I would get new elements like that, new little patch of berries, little pine cones, little whatever. And so they would add more garland to their wreath. And so now they have these great big full wreaths with all these beautiful little symbols
that's beautiful.
of life,
Yeah.
So my 2 boys and Amy's 3 kids have those. And, the next generation of the kids, Amy's grandkids, it's just been like a beautiful thing. And so
Yeah,
we have
I love it.
a harvest meal, just soups and with
Yeah.
lots of vegetables.
Well, I can pick those out and give them to Scott.
Right. And then we have a Yule log cake.
Well, I would have
Which
that for
is
sure.
delightful, because that's part of the whole original thing
Yeah.
was the lighting of the Yule log. So we do that, and we light the fire, and we
And
light our
this year it'll
candles,
just
and-
be 2 couples.
Yep, we'll do that tomorrow.
Nice.
So yeah,
Well, I love that. I really do. And I just think that instead of, I really just don't think there's a negative in terms of let's find all the ways in which we can rejoice around life and evergreen and rebirth
Gratitude for-
and gratitude and
wintering.
yes,
Yeah.
I just don't think you can ever go wrong initiating those kinds of traditions and beliefs with your kids and
Yeah.
with your friends and family. And I really acknowledge you because I think that it's really easy sometimes to create those types of traditions in the areas that a community standard kind of upholds.
Right.
But sometimes it can be seen a little crazy
I'm okay
to
with
do.
that.
I know you are.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what I love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I ain't afraid.
No,
I
love
know.
it.
That's what I love, right? Because they can always choose. They can
Yeah.
always take it or leave it or whatever, but they've at least been exposed to this belief that is still grounded in love and grace and
Thankfulness, really. We're thinking.
gratitude. Yeah.
One of the things that is also kind of fun is the mulled wine, which
Well, yes, that's a fun part.
Well, that is a fun part, right? But just the whole the elements of the earth that get put into the wine, and it's warmed and very traditional German traditional wine, and it's great because they bring it in to St. George, so we can get it in St. George.
Yeah.
So you don't have
I
to
know.
mull it yourself.
Yeah.
Nope. So I've tried that in the past, and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And it comes from Germany,
and
and
you've
so it's
spent
pretty
time
cool.
in Sweden, right?
yeah.
And so what kinds
there
of
were some
traditions?
super fun. One was Santa Lucia, December 13th, which happens to be Bailey's birthday. But the morning of December 13th, I woke up in my host family's house to some of my guy friends that I met that were in my neighborhood and at the high school I was at in angel clothing with a wreath of candles around their head lit. Yeah.
There's such a fantastic show,
Yeah.
documentary about that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Anyway, that was awesome.
Okay, but let's just say for a second. I mean, not say for a second because we're actually going to go there. When you saw that for the first time, your response was
Well, I knew that was a tradition, but I thought it was so cute that they came to the American Girls' house to
who looked
do
like
that.
Patty. I don't
Right.
know that that's cute.
Well, no.
Yeah.
It was a whole different ball game back there. Yeah. No, it was nothing. There wasn't
so
anything cute. So that was
great.
super cute. The family I lived with was Finnish originally. They grew up in Finnish, so they had a lot of Finnish traditions that are similar to Swedish, but not all of them. They would eat glug, right?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you would the family I lived with made kind of like oatmeal hot cereal, and the morning. And if you got the hot cereal with the almond in it,
What almond?
One.
You had to find
one almond. So she
It's
would
like
make
the
it.
baby in the New Orleans.
Yes, in the
So-
Christ
Okay,
cake.
only
Yeah.
one has
The
it.
king
All
cake.
right.
And then that was. I'm trying to decide what that meant. I don't remember what it meant, but honestly,
Something amazing. Like your year was going to be fabulous.
Yep.
We're just going to go with that.
And Santa Claus was called Yule Tomten because Jul, Yule, is Christmas in Swedish, and Tomten must be the Yule guy.
It's whatever you tell us, because nobody's going to know the difference.
37 years ago. But when I went back 8 years ago, it was during summer solstice. Which was so fun. We made flowered
The wreath.
wreaths for our heads.
Danced around the maypole.
Danced around the maypole, all the traditional stuff. It was such a blast.
Gosh, that sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
And that's all of that is Mother Earth stuff.
totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I
I
think
love
I'm supposed to live in Europe.
well, and I mean, all Sweden cares about is the earth.
Yeah.
I mean, their national church would be Lutheran, but most families go to church on Christmas and Easter, and then they send their kids to
Parochial school.
like for a few weeks, they go to Bible study
Bible
or
school.
whatever,
Bible vacation
and then they
camp.
get their confirmation, and then that's the end of that. They're not super religious, but they are very conscientious,
Very spiritual towards the earth.
everything, towards the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I could love that.
I liked that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we would leave our house that I lived at in our cross country skis
oh my
and
gosh.
go out ut i skogen, out in the forest.
Uti skogen.
Ut i skogen.
Uti skogen. I wish I had been as brave as you to do something like that.
I was a little.
Oh
I
my
was 16. I was
gosh.
homesick, but I remember when Bailey was 16, and I called my mom and said, "I totally get how you could send me across the world."
And how exactly did that happen?
So,
Like you broke curfew and they said, Sweden, you go.
Yeah. Well, I was friends with a couple of the Swedish exchange students that came over. A friend of mine that was 2 years older than me went over as an exchange student. And I think it was part of the Kiwanis. Do you guys remember Kiwanis?
Yeah, the
Club?
Kiwanis. Yeah.
My dad was
Your
part
dad,
of
okay.
the Kiwanis Club, as well as like the Elks Lodge and the Lions
Yeah.
Lodge and whatnot. And somehow there was this exchange program, and we filled out the application. And I had originally applied to go to Switzerland, which I don't really know why.
You could have been yodeling this whole
could have
conversation.
You could have been in your little.
I could have skied
in your
in the Alps, but I
Yeah.
did get to ski in Norway and Denmark and Sweden, so I'm good with that. But
So
if you went to Switzerland, they wanted you to have they need you to have French or German.
Oh,
I had Spanish, but
Sweden didn't require
no,
that
they
because
they
they're
teach
mostly
English
speaking.
Well, they're Swedish speaking, but they learn English starting in kindergarten.
Yeah.
But then they learn another language later too. So most of them have 3 languages, if not more.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I got there in July, started school in August, and I went to regular high school in the morning. In the afternoon, I went to like Swedish lessons for about 6 to 8 weeks with other exchange students. And by
man.
December, I was pretty fluent. And
What happened?
37
Oh,
years.
that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
You
can't
use
even-
it or lose it.
I can't even remember what happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But-
so great.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and I've been back only 2 times, and I want to go back. I want to live there in the summer.
When you think about your experience going to Sweden as an exchange student, and you think of people who are coming from international locations and coming to the States, let's say Utah, for an exchange, how do you think what do you think their experience would be?
Oh, wow. So I have a couple girls I have a girl from Brazil in my class right now. She's an exchange student, lives with our friend. And I think her experience has been fine. She
has a good family.
She has a good family. She's on the cross country team. She's traveled with cross country to a couple other, I think she went to Arizona recently with them. She does a great job in school. She speaks English really well.
Yeah.
There was a couple things I had to explain to her, like language wise, is
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
I have another student that has moved here from Latvia, and she was an orphan and was just adopted in the last year to a family here.
Wow.
And she has a sister in Estonia.
Is this the one I know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her English is improving since I met her in August. And I think I asked her how she was doing the other day, and she said good. And but I think their experience is where we live. I think it is definitely more homogenized for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And culturally small.
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
beautiful.
Nature-wise.
Oh, yeah.
Nature they haven't seen. So
Well,
that-
and I've had friends from Sweden come over and visit. I had one of my friends, Saida, lived with me for a couple months while I was in college. And Jana came over, my Swedish sister, she and I are a month apart. She was an exchange student in Washington State, but flew down
To
and
see you.
stayed here. Yeah. Before I was married. And then I think Saida came back when I was married and lived in California and stayed with us in California.
fun.
And then, of course, I stayed with both of them when I went back 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But
I hope Victor comes and stays with us.
yeah,
We had an exchange student, from Montenegro, and which is across the Adriatic Sea from Italy.
yeah.
So, and it was the same thing. I mean, he spoke 4 languages when he got here as a junior,
Yeah.
and he was great. And
I know I
everything
had a
about
foreign
this,
exchange student from Croatia, and he was the same, right? Spoke 3 or 4
Yep.
languages.
because that's what they
And
do.
that was kind of the most surprising thing, I think, to him. I mean, always gracious, very kind. I mean, just
But
generous
surprised
and
we
kind.
didn't speak as many
yes,
languages.
surprised that, that there wasn't that same kind of focus or exposure.
yeah.
Well, there's a lot of truth to this next statement, but I teach it when I talk about language development, is that our thinking derives from our language, as you know.
Yeah.
And so can you imagine the doors that are open if you learn more
Yeah.
language? The thinking that you have just becomes more divergent.
Yeah.
The more languages you can speak because of
It is
the words that are available for one language may not for another.
Yeah. And it is an amazing skill to ward away Alzheimer's. I learned this last summer, learning a new language.
Well, yeah, that would be true.
Early on, or like, do I need to do a
Even
different
now.
one now?
Even
Okay.
now.
But
Even-
does early
even
on
though-
help?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you'd have to keep
Even though you're in the
practicing.
throes of it now, Patty, you can still
I
benefit.
know.
know.
Shit, I can't remember anything.
I know.
Nope, you just have to keep at it.
Here's the other thing that I noticed is that I'm asking my students to write in third person, which they're
It's
just
tough for
having
them.
a
It's
heck
tough.
of a time. But some of my more proficient English as a second language students seem to be having no problem with it whatsoever. But my English speakers, who
Right.
that is their only
Primary language.
or predominant, very predominant language, are really, really struggling with third person writing.
I
What do you
wonder if
think?
it's
What do you
the-
think,
I
Sean?
have a question about that.
Yeah.
How do you have them teach third person writing or speaking in third person when many of the new pronouns being used were originally third person pronouns?
Actually, I think that it is easier
Easier.
because you can reference people and they and their
And
and,
there's
don't
fewer
have to
rules.
specify.
there are fewer rules.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can talk about
It is. It's like seriously the elements of
I've
grammar that I don't
changed-
have
yeah.
to deal with
Yeah.
based on the change to they them. And isn't that? I mean, aren't there some languages where that's the case?
Yeah.
Where things are either. I know some languages are predominantly masculine. Look at us
Well,
on a
and
tangent.
I know we are
What?
not back
What?
to winter solstice, but there are some languages that
what a surprise.
I know,
But Mother Nature has taken us here, so go.
and so much more. I was going to say some languages, there are female and male adjectives, right?
Sure.
In Swedish, they weren't gender, they weren't female or male, but they were et, or nen.
Which represented
Nothing.
just you.
It just means
Oh.
So your face is
face.
et, on 60. So a face.
A face to you.
Et eplet, an apple.
Yes.
But let's see, what would be an N word?
Well,
N.
be careful.
Anyway, En. Instead, so A, like, oh, this is a face, that's an apple. The
Yeah.
da, was, you had to, and there wasn't really a rule about it other than you just had to know which ones were et and which ones were N.
Really?
En.
Oh my gosh, maybe that's this summer's activity is to take a language class.
I just, I don't
I love
like
languages.
because I tend to be step into the controller quadrant. I do not choose often to do things that I don't think I can do very well.
100%.
So that would be such a challenge for me because other languages do not
Intimidate.
Yes.
So then let's do it together.
All right.
Because I wouldn't be intimidated
I
to
think
be dumb.
I meant by all right, I'll think about it.
Okay. You could come to Maine and we could do it in Maine.
Okay, all right, yes.
we could learn
We
French
could sit out
Canadian.
and sit on an Adirondack chair and look at the ocean and practice our
And thank Mother Earth.
Swedish or what would we want? What would we choose?
French. I want to learn
Really?
French. Mm-hmm.
It is a beautiful language,
It's a
isn't
beautiful
it?
language. My
Yeah.
nephew is supposed to be sending me a word once a week because after doing Spanish for his, he went to a duolingo school, my niece and nephews. And in high school, he decided he wanted to learn French in addition. By the way, this is Jonah. Shout out to Jonah, who just had all his screws
surgery.
removed.
Yep.
Way to go, Joe.
Is he a screw loose now?
He is like
few
about
screws loose.
10 screws loose now.
Okay.
So way to go, Joe. But yeah, French. He's supposed to be sending me a word every Friday.
See,
Croissant.
Petit
Baguette.
beignet.
Mademoiselle.
See, I already speak it, so why would I need to study it any further?
Got it all.
Let's study it and then let's go there.
I have no problem with that.
All right. That
So-
really sounds like a plan.
So winter solstice
Yeah,
traditions.
right. Back to
Love you,
that.
Patty.
I know.
Winter solstice traditions, and then we move all of us into celebrating this break where we have lots of individual family traditions, how we celebrate Christmas. And I know you guys have different traditions that you guys celebrate with your families, and they've grown and changed over the last few years for both of you, haven't they?
Well, as we get more people, it gets a little bit trickier.
And kids move out, and
Yeah.
move in with
And
others.
they have their partners now, and you're finagling what that all looks like for them to be able to share time and
Yeah. This will be our first year that our kids will not be at our house for Christmas.
that's
All
a
of
very
That's
all
a
of
big
them,
one.
yeah.
that's
It's
a
a
big
big
one.
All three we're going to celebrate Christmas tomorrow and do the gift exchange and have a nice dinner, and then they all go to their in-laws.
Yeah.
And I'm fine.
Which was a
Yeah.
difference.
Different. I just have to get my crap
You're
together
fine.
quicker.
You're fine. You're
It
totally
happens
fine,
to be
Patty,
Riley's
but
birthday
we're still
tomorrow
gonna call
too.
her.
Check in.
Yeah,
on her
check in.
Yeah.
on Christmas Day.
Are you okay? Yeah.
Is everything okay? Yes,
Yeah.
I'm taking a
Guess
nap.
what? The
Leave me
mess,
alone.
Yeah. The mess was already cleaned up. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is our kind of our first year to navigate with Ethan and Kitty, and Max out of high school, so
Yeah.
we only have those two. But it's
Yeah, they
it's
get
already
older.
looking a little different, right?
Yeah.
And so
it
you
does.
got like
it does.
5
Yeah.
that are now all
well,
over.
I'm excited.
All over,
Cassie's
yeah.
coming down. She hasn't
Cassie
been
and
down
her
for
fiance
Christmas.
Wait a
are
minute, I
coming
didn't know
down. Yeah, they'll be here
that.
on Friday.
Oh my gosh, I'm
And
so
then,
excited for you.
Christmas Eve, we're actually going to our son Sean and his wife, their house for Christmas Eve with Brandon and Cassie and David, Cassie's fiance. So that's going to be lovely
And new.
and new.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited about that. And
Yeah.
they're so excited to host and have us, right? That is their now tradition building, right? And that's an essential part. One of our traditions is this ginormous Christmas village, which I said we weren't going to choose to do this year because it's really just kind of Scott and I and Brandon, bless his heart, but it does not matter to him, except that
It's
it
what you
creates a
love.
mess in our house that he lives in. So, and then we're always saying, Brandon,
Help, help.
yes. But I just couldn't help it. It's just so a part of that feeling. And even if nobody is there to see it and none of our little characters are out, or they're out, but they're just laying on the ground like they're dead because I haven't actually put them in place yet. It just, it's just so much a part of how we've celebrated Christmas for so many years that I guess wasn't ready to, I must not have been ready to say goodbye to that because it's
out.
up. It's out.
Did
It's
you get it
beautiful.
out?
It's out.
It's
I
out.
haven't seen it.
It's
then,
out.
'cause
So
I
please come by. Somebody should see it.
I'm going to try and come by tomorrow.
Yes, and bring your little ones.
I will. I was going to ask each of you, are there Christmas traditions that if you decided not to do, that your kids would have a fit over?
Well, you know what I did 2 years ago.
Yeah, you said if you want Christmas dinner, have it.
If you want, because we have so many traditions.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, pick one. Whatever one you pick is the one that we'll keep. And they did. And so that was a tradition this year, was me saying to them, okay, here are the 6 traditions. Pick which ones you want. And
Yeah.
so it's happening.
And so-
I'm only in charge of Christmas Eve.
And they do the others, and then some
Yep.
go away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
You do have a lot. of
We do have a
traditions.
lot of traditions. I don't know why I felt like that needed to be a thing. I guess because I just want them to know of different experiences.
Yeah, and I think that even though there may be complaining and whatnot, there's still years ago our son put together this "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" video, and he's narrating it, and then there's a Barbie and a Ken that are
The two of
walking
you.
out and acting out the different parts of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and in each of these little sections, it references one of our kids and talks about something very special to them, right?
Oh, that's Sean, right?
Sean is the one that narrated it and put it together. And we probably haven't seen it for 10 or 12 years, I would guess. And then my mom is having us over to her house, her kids, for before Christmas. And she wanted everybody to come and tell a story about Christmas. And thank you, Mom. And so we were thinking, let's just find that video if we have it somewhere. And so we did. And it popped up, and it was during my prep at school. And I watched it, and I'm just bawling like a baby. I mean, really just bawling like a baby. And then the next thing I see is Scott sending that he can't even write anything. He's crying so hard. And I think that's why you create those moments, because you never know when that moment is going to be the moment for someone. But it will be. It will be their moment. And you don't know when and you don't know why, but it will be. And I think that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah.
In the big scheme of things, yeah.
Well, yeah. One of our traditions is to go cut down a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of over it.
Mm-hmm.
But our kids are not.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that makes it worth it.
Yeah.
to me.
Well, now they can pick it up, right? And you can just be the tag along.
Yeah.
You don't have to plan it. You don't have to have everything together. You can just now be the one that, but that, I mean, that there's a sweetness in that. That one of the things I would really love to commit to is to release off of, I have to do all of that,
Right.
and just let it be organically what it's going to be. And they'll remind you about all of the amazing, powerful things that they've experienced in their lifetime. You don't have to remind them for them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
That's what I wish for my besties here. You know, I feel so blessed this year to have been surrounded by people who love and care for us so much. And it's never been more prevalent in my life and in Scott's life, for sure, than in the last 6 months. And so just from a place of sheer gratitude and thankfulness, I just want to thank the two of you and all the people in our life who, regardless of the tradition, whether it's a holiday tradition or just a love tradition or whatever, have showed up in that space for us. It's just meant more than you could possibly ever know.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No thanks needed. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
holiday.
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Get those presents out there, Hanukkah people. You've got a lot to do.
Hanukkah, oh, Hanukkah. Happy 5th
night of Hanukkah.
Should we? I kind of feel like we should sing the 12 Days of Christmas, all of the verses.
I can do it. Can you do it?
All of them?
Just for Sean.
Just for Sean.
Oh my gosh.
But not the echo.
Oh, because then I can't hear myself. Okay, we're going to follow Jill's lead just for Sean. Okay, here we go.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A partridge in a pear tree.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens,
2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think there were just 3 days. Yeah.
Yay!
Happy holidays, everybody!
Thank
Merry
you, everyone.
Christmas.
Have a
Sure,
wonderful
love you all.
holiday season. If you're off for work, enjoy every moment of it, and we'll see you back
Next
in
year.
2023.
Woo-woo!
Thanks for listening to It's a Great Day to Talk.
Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform.
And until next week,
Get out there and talk.
This has been a production from a podcast studio.